coachable and the offense not being able to evolve because of him. And we know A.J. Brown's discontent right now. Does that coming out today and maybe connecting some dots change your mind on A.J. Brown's future, whether he remains in Philly or goes elsewhere, maybe like New England?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think that AJ is getting close to that age where some GMs will be a little bit more reluctant to sign on for a long-term deal. So I don't think that, despite the fact that the Eagles seem to agree with some of the things about the offense that AJ was upset about, I still think that they might be open.
Mike Vrabel spoke at the owners' meetings yesterday and was asked about the possibility of acquiring his former wide receiver, A.J. Brown, from the Eagles.
We're going to try to do everything we can to strengthen our roster through the draft, through free agency, multiple ways of player acquisition. So anything that we can continue to do to strengthen the roster, we're going to try to do.
All right, so that was him giving – you're laughing because you know exactly what they're doing at those things.
Yeah, and what he's saying is, yeah, we would love to have A.J. Brown, and you'd be crazy to think that I wouldn't want to have A.J. Brown. So, you know, in the dot connecting world, obviously a lot of success in Tennessee together. Patriots had a great year. They need a receiver on the outside. They moved on from Stephon Diggs. So clearly this makes sense. Again, just to remind the audience, as Dan Graziano reported earlier in the week, there's a significant difference if they would trade A.J. Brown after June 1st. So we'll see what happens. But Mike Vrabel, like, you know, he can't come out and say the player's aim for tampering purposes. Right. But that's about, I mean, he's like, in that world, he's screaming from the rooftops.
Like,
yeah, of course.
I can tell you since the combine, I had a GM say to me, I said, A.J. Brown, would you have any interest? And he's like, oh, Patriots are all in on that. I know the Patriots are going to be all in on A.J. Brown. That was back weeks ago. Everybody in the NFL, you okay there, Mike? Everybody in the NFL has sort of been looking at New England and A.J., that connection between Vrabel and A.J. Brown. Vrabel was asked about it at the combine. He was like, this is a guy that I'm close with, that I check in with. We check in on each other, not just when things are going bad, but when they're going good. And you already know that if they have a need, and there's a guy who may or may not be happy in his current city, why not try to make some work?
And Nick, that begs the question. We had the story at the top of the show and the reporting done by McManus and Jeremy Fowler about Jalen Hurts and him not being
to trading him if they could get some quality back in return. But I think, to the Patriots' point, while they were in the Super Bowl, that offensive run during the playoffs was really bad. So they need some help on that side of the ball, clearly. Yeah,
and look, and we're talking about a young quarterback and stunting young quarterbacks' growth. Drake May was phenomenal in year 2, but you've got to build on that with what Nick is saying and shore up some things that could make the quarterback take a step back.
Yeah, and there's also a sense of urgency, Matt, because, you know, he's on a rookie deal in a year or so. When he's extension eligible, these become a much harder problems to solve. So certainly another offensive lineman or two, and again, a number 1 wide receiver, and the Patriots have a chance to get back.
Can I just add one thing, though? A lot of teams make the mistake of thinking they're further along in the process of being Super Bowl, like we are definite Super Bowl like contenders, and they they overestimate their roster. So I don't know, are they an A.J. Brown away? I know
you just got the best out of Josh Allen, and it was so great to see. And obviously, he deserves credit for that. A lot of things credit. What did you do, or what specifically would you say that you're most proud of in getting the best out of him? I imagine like playing more off the run game. That was the thing I noticed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. It's the reality of it is when I took over, right? We were in a I wasn't hoping to be OC that year, right? And so it was a unique perspective. I was able to come into a situation as an interim and kind of not rally the troops, but just in a way of like, guys, we got to figure this out together. And fortunately, I was in the room with him. So I know him. I know who he is, what he needs, and those type of things. But look, Josh Allen makes me look a lot better than I am. You know what I mean? Like, he makes the bad plays work. But I think oftentimes we know Josh can do what nobody else can do, and sometimes helping him is not having him have to do all that at all times, right? Because we know when those moments come up, he's going to be Josh Allen, and I hope that I don't need that every single play from him.
Bills Mafia, let me ask you something crazy. What if the Buffalo Bills do not need A.J. Brown, but they still absolutely have to think about him if the door opens? Aha, because that is what makes this rumor so dangerous. Buffalo is not sitting here empty at wide receiver, begging for help. No, sir. The Bills' official roster already shows DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer, and Trent Sherfield in the room. So this is not about survival. This is about domination. This is about taking a good receiving core and turning it into something that makes the rest of the AFC say, ho ho, that is too much. And then you look at A.J. Brown. He is still officially on the Eagles roster, still wearing that Eagles label, still one of the premier receivers in football, and even in 2025, what some people would call a quieter season, he still put up 78 catches, 1,003 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Aha! That is the scary part. His quieter year is still a 1,000-yard year. His down year is still star production. That is what alpha receivers do. That is what true number one wideouts look like. Yeah, so when Bills fans talk about Brown, they are not just dreaming about another weapon. They are dreaming about a finisher, a bully, a playoff closer, the kind of receiver who can take over a third down, win through contact, punish corners on the boundary, and give Josh Allen that one target defenses can never fully erase. And tell me that would not be ridiculous in Buffalo. DJ Moore stressing one side, A.J. Brown destroying matchups on the other, Shakir finding soft spots underneath, Coleman growing into a bigger role. Oh man, that is not just an offense, that is a warning shot to the whole conference. Now, let's be real, this is not easy. Brown is still an Eagle. Philadelphia has not opened the front door and said, come get him. But that is why Buffalo has to be smart, not passive. If there is even a crack in that situation, Brandon Beane should at least make the call, because that is what contenders do. They investigate stars, they check the price, they study the timing. They do not sit around later saying, man, maybe we should have tried. No, they try. And if the cost is heavy, welcome to championship football, baby. Big players cost big assets. Big dreams cost real pain. But if the goal is a Lombardi, if the goal is to maximize Josh Allen while he is still in his absolute prime, then you at least have to consider the move that could transform the ceiling of the entire offense. That is why this topic matters so much. It is not just fantasy, it is philosophy. Are the Bills willing to think as big as their window demands? Are they willing to turn very good into flat-out unfair? Bills Mafia, tell me what you think. If A.J. Brown ever truly becomes available, do you push the chips in and go get him, or do you trust the room Buffalo already built and ride with what you have? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep riding together. Because if this front office ever gets a shot at adding a game breaker like A.J. Brown, the Buffalo Bills need to be ready to hunt.